Welcome to I Couldn't Help But Wonder, Divorce Decoded, the podcast where we untangle the legal, emotional, and financial threads of modern family law, one story at a time. I'm Lorraine Silverman, and today we're talking about a topic that causes anxiety for almost every parent I meet: child support. There's something about asking for child support that makes people hesitate, even when they know they're entitled to it, even when they need it. I couldn't help but wonder, why is it so hard to ask for something so basic, financial support for your child? The truth? It's not about the money. It's about the emotion tied to it. The story: the teacher and the tech CEO. Melissa was a public school teacher, thoughtful, organized, fiercely independent. Her ex, Chris, worked in tech. Founder, VC funding, the whole startup scene. When they split, they agreed she'd have primary physical custody. But Chris wasn't consistent with money. Some months he paid, some months, silence. Melissa hesitated to file. She didn't want to start a war. She didn't want to be seen as greedy. But after a few missed payments and a school trip she couldn't afford, she realized this wasn't about her pride, it was about her daughter. The legal breakdown: child support in New York family court. In New York, child support is calculated using a formula under the Child Support Standards Act. Here's how it works. The court calculates combined parental income, then applies a percentage based on the number of children. 17% for one child, 25% for two, 29% for three, etc. That amount is then split or prorated between the parents based on their share of the combined parental income. This payment is called basic child support. Most people think of this as the cash payment that is paid or received each month. The non-custodial parent, the one with less parenting time, is presumptively required to pay basic support to the custodial parent, the parent with more parenting time. In New York, even in situations where parents share physical custody equally, the parent who earns more is deemed the non-custodial parent, and that parent is still presumptively required to pay basic support to the other parent. In addition to the basic child support payment, there are other payments that are also required, and those are health insurance premium costs for the child or children, childcare expenses, unreimbursed healthcare expenses, for example, copays. These costs are typically prorated or shared by the parents based on their respective incomes. The court can also look at other child-related expenses, which are discretionary with the court, but can also be ordered or agreed to by the parents. For example, any special educational or medical needs or expenses of the child, extracurricular expenses for activities the child is engaged in, any voluntary payments already being made for the child. It is important to note that while the law provides guidelines for the amount of child support to be paid, the parents can reach an agreement that works for their particular situation. However, opting out of the Child Support Standards Act needs to be done with care, and it should be reviewed by an experienced attorney, so it is done correctly. To start the process, you file a child support petition in family court. The takeaway? Child support isn't a favor, it's a right. It's not about your relationship with the other parent, it's about the child support you're both responsible for. You don't have to feel guilty for filing, you don't have to apologize for needing help, and you don't have to do it alone. Thanks for joining me on I Couldn't Help But Wonder, Divorce Decoded. Next week, we're talking about what happens when life changes after the agreement is signed, and how to file for a custody or support modification when you need one. Until then, if you're ready to file for child support or need help understanding your rights, visit thecdslawfirm.com for guidance and a confidential consultation. Because parenting is a full-time job, and sometimes it takes legal backup.